The Crash Course Podcast is brought to you in part by derbyparts.com, Smashmasters Derby Parts, Derby Inc. Magazine, Live It, Breathe It, Be It, Derby Inc. The 2014 Bash for Cash, May 24th and 25th, Washington Courthouse, Ohio. And the Keystone National, a Bo Lockwood Motorsports production, July 19th at the Jefferson County Fairgrounds in Brookville, Pennsylvania. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby Podcast, recorded live at the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York. And now your host, Chris Marport. Good afternoon. Episode number 30 on deck for the Crash Course Podcast. Thanks for joining us. We got Josh Johnson, defending winner of Spring Explosion, joining us on the line a little bit later on. We're also going to be catching up with Jeremy Gard, who was part of the runner-up team, Gard Speed Shop. He's been a busy boy. 28 engines in something like 3 weeks. It's been
That's awesome.
It's been busy for him. We got Josh and Ben, Josh Decker, Ben Hospital joining us here in studio. Brian Tompkins also made the long trip in from McDougal.
Long
Make no
haul
mistake,
from
it
McDougal.
is not Romulus where you live. It is McDougal. It is
Like 4
McDougal.
minutes away.
Pretty close.
And we've got I gotta try. Steve, hang on 1 second, man. I'm trying to set you up while we're doing this. I wanted to pull you in after we got through the intro. Steve Bucknam is with us as well on Skype. And
Do you jog here, Brian, or how do you do it?
I haven't jogged, and today I'll make it 8 years in a row. So that'd be a no.
I know that feeling.
there we go. There's Steve. We got Steve here. Where are you tonight?
I'm actually back at Scott's house, that studio I've been using, but he's rearranged things a little bit.
Yeah. How's
Yeah.
Florida?
Oh, it was nice and warm. I got sunburned down there. You know, I don't know what's going on, but I used SPF 50, and I used it very liberally, I guess you'd say, and I still got burned through it. So maybe sun's just brighter in Florida,
Sun's more intense near the equator.
I guess. Maybe I've gotten big enough that my gravitational pull is affecting sun's rays, and I get burned easier.
That's not good. You don't want that. Steve was in the Panhandle of Florida, the part of Florida that does actually have a time change with Tim Dyson freestyle motocross. So he was busy down there you're down there 10 days, right?
12 days, yeah. I missed that first show because I forgot about the time change, but I got you the last time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Been a busy week. Everybody's getting ready to head out to load their cars up and head out to Spring Explosion. Josh Johnson. I keep screwing up his name. There's too many Johnsons in Demolition Derby, man. I can't keep them straight.
There are a lot. That's true.
But Josh is going to be on. Josh drove one of two, like the only two old iron cars that were there. They had a couple Suicide Lincolns at Spring Explosion last year and did a great job with them. Driving those two a win. Real slugfest. Jeremy Gard did a great job. I think, to his credit, he had somewhere around like 6 putouts, maybe more.
Nice.
And in the final thing, he lost. The front wheel was falling right over sideways, and he ended up getting pounded on real bad. And something like 9 of the top 10 all had Gard motors in them. So that was
That's not bad.
That's awesome.
that was he did okay there. So we're just about actually looking at that clock. We
That's got to be tough when you turn around and you see 8, let's say 8 cars, and it's like, okay, my motor's in every one of them.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, you ain't going to beat them that way.
yeah, you're not driving through them.
No, you got to beat them a different way.
You
That's
got to
awesome.
drive through them.
That's really cool, actually.
Yeah, and an interesting point was made in those when you have motors that are that good. A good motor can drag a pile of junk around all night, but a pile of junk motor can't move anything.
No.
And that was an interesting
Trust me, I
perspective.
know.
Whitaker proved that at Razorback Rumble.
Oh, yeah, that car shouldn't have been moving. No, that's true.
No, that was a grout motor, but same
Yep.
theory.
It was moving. Like, there was a couple times he was deep, like dug, and just got out of it, you know? It's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Man, that's impressive.
Well, probably made it down to the asphalt or wherever's underneath. It got that little lurch to get it up out of the hole, and away it went.
Out there, I think China was the next thing. There's no asphalt under there. There's no doubt about that. There's no asphalt under there.
Nice. That's
Well, you know
great.
what was real cool about that? Like, that car was like, hitting at all different angles, like twisted down.
Oh,
and
gosh, how are you?
no fear at all. Just foot in the gas, just driving.
you go.
He knew he was hitting all things weird, but it didn't matter. He just he was like at that zone where it's like, yeah, it's an end of this car's night right here.
Yeah. Turning and burning.
It was pretty awesome.
We've got Josh on the line. Josh, can you hear us okay?
Yeah,
Josh Johnson, once again, the defending winner of Spring Explosion. Ended up winning overall, and I don't know what you're doing over there now. Ended up winning overall and help Team Leftovers get to the team championship. Josh, tell us a little bit about what last year's run was like. I mean, that was a really, really aggressive feature, a lot of hard cars that were out there, and you guys were able to stand on top.
Yeah, for sure. All the cars are built pretty good these days. Everybody's got all the same equipment. Two hard cars hit each other. It's tough, and we have a lot of Lincolns running around here, and I've always seen how tough they are. So I decided to run one, and it got us there. We had a letdown with one of them in the heat race. It kind of turned to junk pretty quick and was not fixable. We went out there with 3 cars and we got it done. It was a lot of fun, and we're ready to go back.
What are you bringing?
Can we guess that it's got 4 tires?
You are bringing another Lincoln. You liked them that much. You guys actually ended up in the feature down a car, right? You didn't have all 4 out there.
Yeah, for sure. We were down a car. I wanted to focus on my car, and it didn't need much repair, but the other one was just beyond fixing. We tried to pull it out and ended up ripping the front frame right off of it. It was just one of those deals, rusty from the inside out, and when you build a car like that you can't see inside the frame, it's half of this or half of that. What do you do,
And you went by the team name Leftovers last year. It's an interesting story how you came to be known as Leftovers with a little bit of musical chairs taking place before you actually finalized your team for Spring Explosion last year.
Actually, we've been running the team show ever since it started in Georgetown, Illinois. The first, I think it was the first 2 years it was down there. And we had myself, my friend Don, and Bob Brockway, and then another guy that no longer derbies. We went back the second year with the same team, and then that second year, that fall, Bob wanted to run on Team Gard for the Blizzard Bash, and they ended up doing real well out there. They ended up winning the whole show, and when they came back in the spring, they decided that they wanted to keep that team together. So we were not only down Bob, but we were down another driver. So we went and asked around, and we had a local guy around here that wanted to run the show. So we picked him up. And then Terry Timmons from Frankfort, Indiana, he's pretty well known all over the place. He's a good driver, a hell of a driver. And we asked him, and he joined our team. And we were kind of a bunch of people that were just left over, We didn't really have a team, and it fell apart, and then it came right back together. So it worked out.
And it turned out that you guys had to go toe-to-toe with Team Gard, which is where Bobby Brockway ended up running. He was there with Ryan Durham, Adam Fushi, and Jeremy Gard. And you guys came down to it, and Bobby Whitaker's car was folded up. His bumper was pretty much wrapped right around the block, and it came down to a couple of those Team Gard cars and yours. And how nice was it to be able to be the guys that went toe-to-toe and beat Team Gard?
It was good. It was fun. We're friends with all of the guys on Team Gard. We talk to each other on a regular basis, and we help each other out. And there isn't anything that we wouldn't do for those guys and they wouldn't do for us. They're pretty stand-up guys, and I deal with Jeremy on a regular basis, and he's a hell of a guy also. And it's fun. We made it down to the end. We can work together throughout, but then once it's down there, it's game on.
And you talked about that. You do or don't have a Gard motor in that car?
I do have a Gard engine. That was a Gard engine in that car for sure.
But something's to be said about when
never misses a beat. Sometimes it doesn't even want to shut off.
That's awesome.
What were you about to say?
No, I just
I tend to run most of the race with no radiator, so you can ask Jeremy about that later on when he comes on. I can't keep a radiator in the car for
the
nothing.
radiator delete model.
Yeah.
It's not. It must be my driving skills that just aren't up to par.
What were you said? Josh was starting to make a point.
No, when you're a lot of times when you're derbying against people that you don't know, you have a certain feeling while you're out there. You know, you're attacking this and attacking that. But something's to be said when you get out there and it's all a group of friends. Yeah. And it's like there's no hard feelings, so all of a sudden it becomes just like driver versus driver, but you do it with a smile on your face. You know, it's like, I want to beat you just to say tomorrow I beat you, you know, and that's kind of cool. That's cool that it came down to you guys, and that's when it's the most fun derbying like that. And at a team show, that would be... Yeah, that would be you get your... I mean, that's awesome. That's pretty cool.
Well, I mean, it came down to when Josh was out there, I think you only had 2 guys left, and then it got down to where you were alone. There was one other team car from somebody else, I can't remember who, and there was still 2 Gard cars left. Jeremy and Ryan were the, if I remember right, Jeremy and Ryan were the last 2 from that team to go out. And that might have been, I can't remember for sure now. All the cars looked the same when they were out there. They were all just folded. They were all just destroyed.
Actually, my other teammate was hung up on the wall down in the corner. And it was Fushi and Ryan left at the end. And, you know, Fushi is a good driver, too. And, you know, he kept me off of Matt trying to get him unhooked. But I got to him, and I got him unhooked, and me and him were just there at the end, you know, after I think I knocked Ryan's wheel off, and he was parked. He couldn't move anymore. And it was down to our 2 cars left and Fushi up against the wall. And unfortunate for him, he had a ton of car left, but his distributor cap or rotor or something, you know, went bad, and that cost the race, you know, and it just ended up in our favor, you know.
What a great feeling to, you know, like when you're in at the end of that last 2 minutes of that derby, you're saying to yourself, man, I got to beat like the, you know, great guys, and then to pull that victory off has just got to be a great feeling because you know how great those guys are. You know, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, they're good drivers, you know, and then Fushi went on to win Mayhem. That I mean, that just tells you how good of a driver he is.
Definitely.
You know, like I said, unfortunate for him that he had that failure, and you know that kind of stuff takes us all out. You know, I've had wires come out of distributors. Nothing wrong with the car. You know, you can't stop the race and take a time out to fix that. So
no.
No,
be nice.
Hey, you don't have a pit stop.
We need to have a, you know, tag in and out. Maybe have a fifth, fifth car.
Well,
yeah, awesome. That's
tag team.
That's cool.
Yeah.
If you guys didn't drive so hard, which is great to watch. I mean, you know, like some other shows where, you know, the features are 2 hours and you had to get a water break. I mean, then you know you could you know fix your car and then go back at it. That would come in handy.
Sterling Marlin tried that and it cost me $500.
It did.
Yeah, you always do like you did years ago. It was at I can't remember what show it was. They handed off a steering wheel because the guy lost his steering wheel. That was at one of the winter shows. It was either Blizzard Bash or one of the indoor shows. A Redneck Rumble, maybe.
I don't remember that.
It was actually a few years ago.
You know, and I hope Josh Buell has his ears on tonight so we can hear this. But at Waterloo,
oh shit!
Remember the year that Nick Werner ended up winning it in that Crown Vic wagon, and during the red flag, Joe Stevens got out of the car and tried to pull the bumper out from under his Impala.
Oh
no!
That was
you're off a little bit. You're off a little bit.
Yeah.
They actually. One guy got the money, the other guy got the trophy. Joe was in a diplomat.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I was sitting to the sidelines going, what in the blue hell is going on? Yeah. Let the record show Chris Marquardt brought up Waterloo.
I did.
Yes.
I did. And as soon as they were talking about getting out of your car under red flag, I was like, Brian's going to love this. He doesn't have to say Waterloo first.
Everyone's saying, where the hell is this place? Where?
Like Josh, what type of show do you enjoy running? Do you enjoy the team format or just the normal derby?
I enjoy them all. Anytime you can go out there on the track and wreck somebody or wreck something or just derbying in general is just it doesn't matter what it is. Right. Wire class, bone stock,
right.
Full weld.
Just as long as you're wrecking shit.
The show, it just being out there is fun. The team show is, that you gotta, you can go out there with a strategy and try to, put your strategy to work and take care of it that way. Or or going to some place like Mayhem where you run against 50 people that you don't know, and it's a good time. Either, all the way around, it's just a fun time.
Right.
As a team, do you guys ever sit and have a couple of beers and like talk about strategy of what you want to do in a team, or do you guys just pull out there and just send it as soon as you pull out there?
Well, we stay in contact all the time, and we talk about stuff. We don't really sit around and drink beer and talk about it. Everybody has their own personal lives and stuff, and when we talk about what we'll do, and before the show we'll talk about it, and
I call shenanigans, Josh. I call shenanigans on this totally, because I watched you drive last year, and it certainly looked like you guys were sharing one mind. you guys work pretty good as a team.
Yeah, like I said, it's funny how it all worked out. We actually had the same team last year. Well, not last year, but the year before, and we ended up getting all the way down to third. And I had some transmission problems, and we had we had 4 cars all the way down to 15 minutes left in the feature, and little things go wrong, and it just when you can come up with a game plan, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
True, that's very true. Steve Bucknam's keeping a close eye on the derbyparts.com live chat. Anything coming in for Josh in the live chat?
People are just kind of talking about their excitement for Spring Explosion. We've got about 10 or 11 people in here that I can see right now. Josh Wagner's here with us from Missouri, Brandon Hayes from Illinois, a couple guys from Massachusetts and here in New Hampshire. So everybody's kind of keeping their ear to the show to see what's going on. In regards to what Josh was talking about and having a game plan, I would think personally that you could probably talk about strategy, but that probably goes out the window once the show starts. And I would think maybe that your connection with your teammates would be more important, because if you know how your other teammates drive and how they think, you can probably anticipate what their moves are. Would you think that's fair?
Yeah, I do think that that's fair. Many times we've come down with a game plan, and the heats on Friday night are fast paced. It's just like the Blizzard Bash. You guys were there when the green flag drops. You just
bullshit.
You may have a game plan and it's gone. I mean, it's gone.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any difference.
No.
One of the heats at Spring Explosion last year lasted under a minute and 30 seconds, and the four opposing cars, I think 2 of them were junked completely. Like,
yeah,
annihilated.
That is impressive.
That's what's so fun about a team derby. It's like, besides just watching heats, then there's like the next step of it is they got to make it through. Who lasts longer heats? I mean, it's such a. I really enjoy that next step of the team.
Who brought the most parts?
Yeah.
Pretty much. I mean, because they're junking stuff.
Yeah.
In under 2 minutes, under 5 minutes, the stuff is annihilated.
And it's all good stuff. When you go to these team shows, it's all good stuff.
There's nothing junk.
No.
But it's so crazy because you lose a guy, like just something random, like he says, you lose a rotor, pops up out of the blue. Boom, now you got 4 guys driving your team, and it's like, boom, everything went out the window, and now you're on defense, It's we're fun to watch.
We're gonna get into this topic with Jeremy here in about 10 minutes when Jeremy Gard from Gard Speed Shop joins us. They were second in the team standings last year at Spring Explosion. Adam Fushi changed a motor in under 2 hours in the pits.
That's badass.
To get ready to go for the feature, because when he came back, the engine wasn't right, and they needed to change the engine and make the changes that they needed to make on the car in order to get it through final tech and out to the track. We're gonna talk a little bit with. We're gonna talk a little bit with. Oh my! It was like watching NASCAR.
I've not changed axles before because I just loaded it up. These guys are changing motors out there.
Changed the whole motor.
I just said, "Fucking go home."
That story in itself is awesome. We'll be talking with
cool.
Jeremy Gard about that here in just about 10 minutes away from that. Josh, what are some of your expectations or projections? What are you expecting to see in terms of the team show, the team element of Spring Explosion here coming up this weekend, Friday and Saturday?
I'm not sure. I don't know. We were the only team that showed up in Lincoln's last year, and now with the bumper plate rule going to what the Blizzard Bash, what those guys did, with the 3/8 plate. You know, that changes that changes so many cars. You know, I'm not sure what's going to be there. Is everybody going to run Fords? You know, they have the 03 rule now where you can use the aluminum cradle and plate it up, and I don't know what to expect. I can imagine there's going to be a handful of just about everything there.
Are they all going to drive forward like it seems?
Right.
Oh, for
Go
sure.
ahead.
They're all just going to drive forward like it seems?
Yeah.
So what they did last year.
That's really what you do with that car anyway, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's awesome.
It's way more fun to drive
That's
forward.
the best way to drive. There's no doubt.
Hey, Josh, what do you have a favorite type of car to run outside of your team shows? I mean, like when you're just building for a local show, is there something that you really prefer to build and drive, or will you pretty much wreck anything?
I'll wreck anything. You know, we got a handful of wagons here, and you know, we bought these Lincolns just for this show, and we got a stash of Fords. So it just all depends. If we go to Mayhem, I think a wagon is where we want to be. If we go to the team show, you're going to be in a Ford or like a Lincoln. Mm-hmm. Anywhere else around here, we run Fords. You know, it's what everybody's running.
That's a great topic that we never even really touch on, but you really got to start picking your cars for your shows. I mean, it's a great point. Bringing a clamshell to a team show, you're just a sitting duck out there trying to turn around.
You pick your cars to whatever the build rules are.
Especially when one of them Fords drives 3 at 40
and Mayhem's just always been you got to have a lot of real estate.
Right.
I mean, it's
just,
right,
exactly.
Just
take
seriously.
a pounding all night.
I mean, but you take a wagon and you're a target.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You know, everybody wants to put a wagon out,
yeah.
especially at Mayhem.
Oh, you ain't
Definitely.
kidding.
You know, you had years ago. You had when the Hellraisers first came and ran Mayhem. That's all they were there to do. And they wanted to junk the wagons, you know.
I'll tell you what, I saw Troy Tag there the year I was there, and he was doing his damnedest to junk wagons. He was doing a nice job junking wagons out there.
Pillar parking, as it were.
Toby Hiley was doing it with a bubble Ford.
Oh, him and Toast.
Yeah. They put on a hell of a show.
Something is so great about watching the humps on a clamshell
I love
wagon
it.
just buckle,
No,
and you know that guy just it's anger.
It's
and
awesome.
I love it.
You drive him in that rear pillar and watch the roof buckle over the driver's door. There's nothing like it. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah, that's definitely.
It's
a good feeling
awesome.
from Mopar country.
We'll do a tribute to Josh. It makes you feel all warm inside.
Yeah,
the emotional part of it, you know.
I actually ran a wagon 2 years ago at the team show.
Yeah.
And the very first year that we ran, I ran a wagon, and like you said, you that thing is so big on a small track, it's hard to get turned around. And
the Spring X Arena is fairly, I mean, not to taking nothing away from it, but it's fairly small, and it certainly does favor those Fords. You know, did you encounter any trouble getting turned around in your Lincoln?
Yeah, I do. I think it was a little bit difficult to get turned around in the heat. But when you go to the feature, you know, there's so many cars around there. Everybody's jockeying around. There's no. I think if you can make it out of the heat with a big car, you'll be fine in the feature. But definitely the space and the, you know, I don't know if the old cars turn if the wheels will quite turn as tight as a Ford will. You know, wheel angle all the way to the side, and you know, the lighter car in the rear can whip around. You know,
just take a page out of Mike Klinger's book and roll the back bumper right up to the rear wheels. It gets a lot of that extra space out of the way.
Well, he was moving mobile when he ran.
Oh yeah,
he was so mobile on that.
Yeah.
Super
Once the
size,
back,
so,
I mean,
yeah, exactly. Once the backpack's in, it's actually it was rolling pretty well.
It was doing
just
just fine.
Yeah,
doing just fine.
I like watching them.
Sorry, but I was going to say, I bet that a mid-70s Malibu would probably do pretty well at a show like this. It's nice and strong in the nose, and the back kind of curls up, and it's mid-size, so it's maneuverable. It would probably be pretty decent.
Have you ever driven one of those, Steve?
Just a couple. But, I mean, listen, on some of these bigger shows, they're obviously outgunned as a weaker car, but something like this where, you know, you need the maneuverability and you need to be able to move around, it might be nice.
For sure. You add all the plate you can add to it. I mean, it's up front. I mean, that's the weak point.
They still got that bend up front. I think you'd still fucking bend them.
The year that Brockway was fifth at Mayhem and cut had that fuel line rip on him. He had a Malibu that year.
Yeah.
Brockway?
Bobby, yeah.
ran a Malibu?
I'm pretty sure, or was it a Riviera? I'm sorry, it was a Riviera. I'm sorry.
No, I can't see him in it. It's a little small.
I misspoke. Yeah, I misspoke.
Yeah.
Playing on the same idea, the maneuverability side of it, though.
Yeah. Yep.
What's going on in the live chat? Anything else for Josh before we let him go?
Josh Wagner sends his good lucks to Josh Johnson, says he can't wait to see him run this weekend. So some guys that are here in the chat room are definitely going to be out there at the show, and they're excited to see everybody go.
They're going to see Pete Hansen, too. Pete
Yeah.
Hansen's going to be out there.
We got to wish Pete the best of luck. You know, I mean, Pete's representing the whole everybody out here. I said, dude, everybody's watching you. We're all rooting for you, but come on, dude, we have faith in you.
No, he's taking that Rivi that he built, right?
Yeah.
The tribute
For
car.
Ryan Clemo.
He sent me a picture yesterday, and just I stare at it for like, I realize how far behind I am. I stared at Pete's pictures for like hours there.
Right.
He really's got works of art. I mean, it's going to be an awesome car for sure.
Brandon Hayes in the chat room is asking if you guys think anybody will bring some of the older T-Birds this weekend, like a 58 to 66 T-Bird.
Don't know that.
What do you think, Josh? You think that's something that could hold its own there?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. With that, with the plate rule on the front, any car can show up and do well. I think. I actually, after the team show last year, I actually drove to Oklahoma and picked up a couple of those T-Birds, 59 and a 60, and when you build a car that when you look at a car that you've never built before, and everything's different about it,
yeah,
it makes you wonder if getting into that is something that you want to do. And I ended up selling them because I just looked at them and decided that I didn't know what I was doing. I can figure anything out, but I decided that I would just go with something that I've done before. And there may be some of those cars there this weekend. I would venture to say that there's going to be a few Lincolns there, and maybe some old irons will show up with the plate rule. I guess we'll just have to see,
Yeah, that's a type of show I don't think I'd want to go in building a car on a learning curve.
I think you got to take something you're comfortable with.
Yeah, you take something you know and you build it to what you know and just send it.
But there's a lot of guys out there that really love the challenge.
Oh, I love
There's a different kind. You are one of them. Yeah, you're the guy that would build one of them.
Yeah.
Me, not. I would go with something I know. But I mean, some guys. There's got to be guys out there that want to try them. But I've looked underneath them, and I wouldn't know where to start. It's like there's so much here to do. There's a lot of work there.
I bet you the guy that won Winter Slam could build one that could compete out there.
Zacharias could do just fine.
Yeah.
Chris,
I guarantee he could build one to run there.
Him or even Colton's car. Colton's car was built to.
They were nasty, man.
They got him figured out. And
I hit Colton square in the ass with the front of my car, and I mean, I just felt it it was like hitting two Imperials nose to nose. Just that brain pain. Just like,
I think who was the two that ran? Was it Blizzard Blast? Last year before was it David Bryan and the Postal Mopar guy? There's two T-Birds there. Not this year, but I think the year before.
Mm-hmm. That 2013 to 12.
Yeah,
Could
they
be.
had two birds there, and they were pretty stout, but they ripped the front wheels right off of them.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I remember seeing that video. Not to mention it.
Yeah.
Well, Josh, we appreciate you hanging out with us tonight and talking a little bit about Spring Explosion and your travels. We wish you the best of luck out there, and we look forward to maybe talking to you again next Monday if you pull down that win again.
Hey, thank you. Thanks for having me. I like what you guys are doing. It's fun to listen in, and especially like after the Razorback Rumble, hearing Luke talk about his all the mess that went on down there, and hearing about what's going on all over the place. It's kind of nice. I like it, and thanks for having me.
Yeah, Josh, no problem. And
cool.
Go defend that championship. You'll be back on here again next week.
Good luck, man.
Yeah, good luck.
Cool.
No pressure, man.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
See ya.
that's something we don't talk a lot about either. But like, think back in the days, you weren't really knocking tires off of cars. But now it's like that's where it's progressed to. Is like we can't break anything else on it.
You got to find the weak spot.
The weakest link. Yeah, I mean
we've really progressed. Because think about it. When were you ever knocking tires off in box cars?
And think about it. That's the weakest link, and that hasn't been the weakest link for so exposed for so long.
Right.
And now we're getting into now there's aftermarket parts for this. There's aftermarket parts for that. Suspension wise, you get into the spindles. You got.
Well, how about the answer that we got? Where were we? We were at Redneck Rumble when we asked Chad about the spindles on the Fords. He goes, no, no.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
He goes, no, we're not getting into
shut
that off.
Not getting into that. No. But you know what I'm saying is there's always that's how. It's just constantly evolving. It's constantly evolving, and that's the greatest part about it. I mean, if there's always something.
You got some thoughts on it at home? By all means, send a message into the live chat, derbyparts.com live chat. Steve Buckman will be able to relay that for us. In the interim, though, before we do that, we've got to tell you about some of our friends here. Take a look at this.
The new rules are just right. Set aside July 19th for the reinvented Keystone Nationals. Again this summer, Bo Lockwood will host the Keystone Nationals at the Jefferson County Fairgrounds in Brookville, Pennsylvania. A revamped rulebook will help welcome an all-star field as the limited well division takes center stage and a feature paying $5,000 to win. Pre-entries for the stock division are already full. For more details, join the Keystone Nationals community online at www.facebook.com/Keystone Nationals. Once again, the Keystone Nationals, July 19th, 2014 at the Jefferson County Fairgrounds, Brookville, Pennsylvania. What better way to spend Memorial Day than seeing a bunch of cars being smashed? Spend the holiday with Smash Your Demolition Derbies as they again host the Bash for Cash at the Fayette County Fairgrounds in Washington Courthouse, Ohio. Planned for May 24th and 25th, the card is headlined by the co-main events, the $11,000 to win derbyparts.com 80s newer class, and the derbytees.com $10,000 to win turn back the clock division. Other classes include full-size trucks, youth compacts, street stocks, and the 80s newer wire-up division. Gates open daily at 10 a.m. with action to follow at 4. For more information and details, visit the online home of Bash for Cash at www.smashitderby.com. Total Destruction Demo Productions is primed for an explosive 2014. Based out of Trumansburg, Steve Manshaki and Lead Inspector Ben Host have a busy summer with 4 epic events over 7 nights scheduled all over New York State. The schedule starts with the Spring Fling in Morris, New York, June 14th. Total Destruction then hosts 2 nights of carnage at the Ontario County Fair in Canandaigua, New York, July 22nd and 26th. Then the grueling Double Down follows with the Otsego County Fair in Morris planned for July 31st and August 3rd, and the Franklin County Fair in Malone set for August 2nd and 4th. For more details, visit www.totaldestructiondemo.com or call 607-769-6820. July 26th, the Plymouth County Fair Demolition Derby will undergo the ultimate evolution. Brandon Tyson has brought on Ultimate Derby sanctioning for his Mammoth County Fair event at the end of July. Modifieds pay $3,000 to win and pay the top 7. Stocks pay back the top 5 with $1,500 to win. Compacts pay the top 5 with $1,000 to win. The event will be streamed live to the internet for free. Want to live the Derby experience? Competitors are allowed passengers this year. It all goes down July 26th at the Plymouth County Fairgrounds in Lamars, Iowa. Start time is 6:30. Visit www.plymouthcoderby.com. That's plymouthcoderby.com.
And we're back. We got Jeremy Gard is on the line. Steve Bucknam's still hanging out in the derbyparts.com live chat. Steve's going to be packing his bags. He's going to be at Spring Explosion, working with Derby Tees on their live feed stuff. Crash Course isn't going to be able to make the trip out there, but Steve, with representing SBM announcing, going out there and going to be working trackside. And there's another guy that, I forget his name, Joe, I believe.
Joe Valente.
Joe Valente is going to be doing that, and it looks like Joe is going to be in position to take over quite a bit of that that stuff with those guys. And Steve's going to go out there and work with them here in Illinois, and then going to be out there in Ohio.
Bash for Cash.
Bash for Cash as well.
Yeah, basically my plan is just to kind of help Joe get his feet wet and get him set up so that he can handle the commentary for the pay-per-views for Derby Tees.
That's cool, man. Enjoy your trip. I guess you're going with your dad?
Yeah, I'm going to bring the old man. We'll put him to work out there, and he'll help keep me awake for the 18-hour drive.
He's going to be running around telling Jeremy Gard and Team Gard that they're all sissies because they got all those bars in their cars. Is that what's going to happen?
Yeah, it's definitely going to happen. I'm sure we'll hear about that.
That'll be fun. We got Jeremy Gard on the line. No, Jeremy, he's been putting in some time. You finally got your motor together yet? Because I think you've done close to 30 now in the last couple of weeks.
Not 30, but quite a few. Yeah, I finished it up. Sunday, and I got 3 guys out in the shop right now, and we're gonna try and get it stuffed in the car tonight.
We were talking with Josh Johnson here, who won last year overall, and they took down the team win. You guys were second. Adam Fouché, Ryan Durham were one of among the last cars to go out in last year's feature. You guys won it the year before. What are we looking at this year? Is it a year for redemption for Team Gard?
I don't think so. If I had to guess, I would say this is just more of a fun run. We're obviously serious about it, but kind of threw it in here at the last minute to actually run. So we're really scrambling to get stuff ready. So not setting our expectations really high. The
lineup is going to be Bobby Brockway, yourself, Ryan Durham, and Bobby Whitaker.
Yes.
Man, that's a team.
Pretty good, right?
Damn.
Yeah. Damn. I am 100% Team Gard. I cannot wait for this.
There's really a lot of good teams there. Spring Explosion draws, quite a few good teams, And this year it seems like it's stepped up even more with, some out-of-state people coming, Canada team coming. There's some new teams put together that have quite a good lineup too. So it'll be a good year. We're gonna have fun no matter what happens. Get out, shake hands, and that's what it's about.
Exactly.
Good deal.
Let's talk a little bit about you mentioned the Canadian team last year. Your team relied a little bit on a Canadian as well when Adam Fouché had some problems in his engine, and you guys ended up you're working your cell phone. Take us through the process that it was to replace an engine in the pit area in the rain, leading up to the feature at Spring Explosion last year.
I wish I could say it's the first time we've done that, but we did it at the very first Metal Mayhem when Charlie Perrine ran it, the Wire and Go Mayhem. I wasn't even doing engines back then, but we did it then. But this is a little more elaborate these days. There's just a lot more to it.
Yeah, well, you had a fork truck out there that you guys torched a hole in the front of the cage over the radiator, and you took the tine of the fork truck to shove the motor back onto the mount. So it probably, I would imagine, was a little bit more involved.
It seemed honestly, if you were to take an engine out of a car in the shop, okay, your own shop with all your tools, and have 1 or 2 buddies show up, most of the time they wouldn't show up. It would have taken 3 days to do what we did, but we had everybody jump in, and Rob Switzer, he had just bought my engine that I had run, and it was, thank God, drop in ready to go, wired everything. Transmission was hooked up to it, so I mean it was a good. It couldn't happen any better, with the lineup of people we had there to help us, and I think it was just a little over 2 hours from start to finish.
Yeah,
that is crazy.
How great would it be just to watch that? I'd like to watch you guys
stand back, watch.
Just watch them rip that down and put it in and fire it up.
I would like to have watched it.
By the way,
I'm sure.
By the way, I didn't stand back and watch. I had like 2 cameras going. I was in everybody's way. I'm hanging through windows watching people torching stuff.
That's awesome. Man. That's really cool.
It was something else, and it came together good, and everything worked out good. So I guess with the help, anything's possible at a show, I guess.
It was EPR and Team Gard were working together on this, and I'm just thinking, I can't believe this is happening right now. And then on top of that, they're changing a motor in less than 2 hours in a derby car. I can't believe that's happening right now.
That's crazy.
It was crazy to watch.
That just shows you the type of people too. I mean, everybody just pitches in. Let's get it done.
Yep. They had a flatbed pulled up right next to the car, and there was just crossover like crazy. Everybody had a job, and everybody was doing it. And then they turned around and they had a great night. They had a great night out on the track too. I mean, what are you expecting this year when you get out there? I mean, with all the motors that you've been working on here the last couple of weeks. Last year I think you had somewhere around 9 engines in the top 10 or something crazy like that. What's it look like this year?
Quite a few going out there. A couple new ones. The Canada team. I just let's see. Three of the people on the Canadian team will have mine. 2 of them are new. So
that's cool.
The good thing is, you hate going out there. You build the engine for people. You hate going out there and actually running against them.
Of course.
But a lot of my customers like it. They don't care. They don't whine about it. They're there to derby too. Whatever happens, happens.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, the thing is when you're out there and you look down the line, you're like, that's my motor, that's my motor, that's my. You know that motor's not going to shut off.
Right.
So what?
Right, exactly. It's a long night ahead of you. A lot of hitting to do.
You hope
basically
that
it's just a stressful weekend is all it is, and it's business. Mm-hmm. I try to have fun, but most of the time I'm just too serious to you got my whole team to worry about and then everybody else to worry about on top of it. It makes for a long weekend.
More importantly, what hat are you going to be wearing at Spring Explosion?
I don't know. I got some pink Boston hat in the mail or something like that. I don't know.
I don't know. You're out of your mind. I thought we were friends.
Having my green Boston hat on.
That's right.
A good friend sent me one, so I'll wear it there. I don't want to tear it up though.
No, well, I don't want you to tear it up either.
Hey, just do what the Cup guys do. Just reach in and put it on your shifter in the car, and you'll be golden. When you get done, to Victory Lane, you get out, put the hat on, and everything is good. That's what all the guys do in Cup, man.
Did Chris send him one
every
that's
time
like he
I put
wore
a hat
for a
in the
while?
car, I lose the hat somehow. You wouldn't think it'd fall out, but every time I put a hat in the car, it's gone after the race.
That happens with me with sunglasses.
There's no doubt.
I lose my sunglasses.
There's no doubt in my mind you'd lose stuff inside them cars.
Yeah,
I lost my cell phone once. My wallet came out of my pocket once.
Yeah, I've lost. There's been like a few times where my wife comes in afterwards and I'm like, "Can I borrow your phone? You lost your phone in the car again, didn't you?"
I think one time
you don't understand the amount of stuff that I pick up off the tracks.
Oh, I have no doubt.
And my son usually goes with me, and he's like, "We've had cell phones, we've had a whole toolkit." I mean, a guy had a 3/8 drive snap-on toolkit.
Right next to him.
He must have left in the trunk of the car.
Oh, no.
And it was blown all over the track. I'm like, you got to be kidding me,
I think
people.
Brett tells the story. One time he got out of his derby car and jumped out and landed, and there was his wallet at his feet. Or I think it was Brett.
That would be Brett's
Benjamin.
Not $1 out of it. He stops next to it.
That's my wallet. That's so funny.
That thing probably didn't even have a tire track on it.
No, I thought that was funny.
No, you'd be amazed of stuff that is just crazy.
You know that rain rail right along the fender?
Mm-hmm.
I found a steak knife in one of those things after a derby one time.
Duct tape to it?
No, so you used to pull the windows out.
And
that's what they're using to cut the window.
Yeah,
Yikes.
and it wasn't Steve Bucknam's.
Like my third or fourth derby, I ran a square wagon, and I was third or fourth derby, I still was using the key in the ignition to start the car. And about halfway through the heat, somehow the key flew out of the ignition with the car still running. And when I got told to shut it off, I shut the car off. But then, of course, I couldn't get it started again to drive it off the track because the key was missing. And they found it 2 nights later, stuck up against the Jersey barrier in the mud.
Nice. That's cool.
Had you already lost the car by then?
No, we still had it at home, but we'd already broke the column to figure out how to start it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
It was just one of those things. We were walking around on the track, and the announcer's like, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I lost my keys." So everybody got to hear all that. It was pretty fun.
Jeremy, I mean,
Hey, I was going to ask Jeremy. I'm sorry.
Go.
You ever have any hard feelings from competitors, Jeremy, that have engines that they bought from you? Like maybe you go out and wrap a bumper around the pulleys and mess up the engine that they just bought from you. Did they ever have any bad feelings about that?
Well, I don't usually hit hard enough to do that to anybody, so no. In all seriousness, no. The group of guys, the shows that I run, most of them, we're pretty good friends, so I haven't ran across that yet, knock on wood. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but I think everybody's out there for the same reason, to win, and most guys have a pretty good attitude about it, so.
I wouldn't sell that guy another motor. You're not getting another one. I mean, that's a jerk thing to do.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I mean, has there ever been any kickback or pushback when you're on the track with somebody else in any situation that they had your motor or anything along those lines? Even if you're at the same event, I mean, what's one of the oddest situations that you've been in terms of an engine builder?
Honestly, the shows that I run where my engines would be is basically just the team shows. Mm-hmm. Kansas, there's not too many of them out in Kansas. Basically my team and a couple other ones. And Spring Explosion's really the only one where I come across it. I don't run Mayhem, and, you know, I really don't run a lot every year with everything I've got going on. So Spring Explosion is really the only place I face it. And luckily, like I said, you know, most of the people that come there, I'm pretty good friends with. I haven't really had to run across it, so I hope it doesn't happen.
We got a few of them around here.
Yeah, that happens.
Well, I did threaten Josh Johnson, so we'll see what happens, I guess.
He says he's got a radiator delete model.
Yeah, how about that? I mean,
he said he's got one of those special motors because he said he doesn't. His radiators don't last very long, so he said it just.
He never keeps a radiator in his car. I don't. He doesn't have to lose a fender or a bumper. It's just like the radiator jumps out of the car, and that's it. Did the test.
Well, it's good.
Did he tell you his new team name by chance? Because I know
no, that's still a secret.
No,
it's Team Switzerland. It's not the leftovers anymore. So just
Team Switzerland.
go to that.
if they show up with the Swiss flag on the car,
that would be cool. That would be cool.
That would be great.
Yeah, well, they won't do that, but that's actually their team name. So I busted chops all the time about it. So,
so I mean, as much time as you've not had to put into this car here, looking forward down the line, you alluded to running Blizzard Bash here. Have you even got a car yet so that you can start working on that once you get done with your commitments here with Spring Explosion? Are you gonna be getting into Blizzard Bash work pretty quick, or are you gonna put some time between yourself and the building?
Actually, in 4 weeks after Spring Explosion is Bash for Cash, and Bobby, myself, are planning, and a couple of my other buddies are planning on going over there. So we're going to venture over there and see what happens. But the Blizzard, I don't even have a Blizzard Bash car bought yet, so we've got plenty of time for that.
Plenty of time.
Plenty of time.
Yeah, everything's kind of creeping up this year, like I said, with plans changing and then, you know, going back to it. So we'll see. You know, it's going to be. I've got a good crew of guys helping me, like I said. So hopefully we can get them done and head over to Ohio, and then I think after that we're probably going to just. I know I will. I'm taking the rest of the summer off until Blizzard Bash, and then we'll start focusing on that.
Are you going to be in Brookville, Pennsylvania this year? Not necessarily with a car. Just going to be there?
I had plans on it, but my wife's made other plans. So we're actually going to a concert with the kids that night. So
nice.
In all the times that I'm away and everything else, I think it'd probably be a safe bet if I sat that one out.
I was gonna boo you. I was gonna boo you till you said kids. You can't.
Hey, Jeremy.
Is that Fresh Beat Band or Door Alive?
Is it Jonah Brothers?
What class you gonna run in Ohio?
Bash class.
The 80s class, 80s and over.
Yep, 80s class.
Hey, Jeremy, I don't know if you're aware of it or not, but our own personal Josh Decker is going to be at Bash. Mm-hmm. So if you need anybody to wash your cars between heat and feature or anything, or, you know, maybe get you guys hot dogs or hamburgers.
Not the day for it.
You know, Josh would be the one to.
Maybe you can autograph my car or something.
Yeah, I'll do that. That's fine. That'll be all right.
Come on. I want to see that Josh Decker smile. Let's see it, buddy.
I'll punch you.
Come on, let's see it. There it is. There's the Josh Decker smile. Give me the thumbs up. Give me a thumbs. There you go.
Wow.
Back to derby topics. Hey, Jeremy, real quick, whenever you build a motor for somebody, have you ever sold a motor and then seen somebody just drive it so mean, just drive it so hard where it almost pissed you off, where you're like, slow the hell down, or do you not really care? Do you just tell guys to go out there and run it as hard as they can?
I really don't care. What you know, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. You know, parts are made, parts fail. You know, anybody that tells you parts don't fail is a liar.
Sure.
And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that they don't. But, you know, if you don't have confidence in what you build, to just tell the guy to go out there and give it hell and see what happens, then he shouldn't be doing it.
Well, yeah, you're not going to.
So,
yeah, if you're worried about it and if you're restricting guys, I mean, you're definitely not going to sell any motors.
No, I'm not saying that. No. I know, and we all know his stuff is
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying. But no, I just tell them, you know, obviously, if you can get a little bit of run time on it before you go out there, if you can run around the house a little bit, at least get it, you know,
warmed up.
Yeah.
Broke in a little bit, but, you know, half the time I don't even get to do that, you know. We're just throw it in the car and go, and give it hell. If it's going to go, it's going to go, and we'll deal with it when it happens.
I don't know what would be more cool, to have a Gard motor to run on the track, or to have a Gard motor to back your derby car on the road in front of your house.
My neighbors would be so pissed, dude.
Oh,
I'd be putting tons of YouTube videos on.
Hey, listen, my neighbor actually, he had an Easter party at his house yesterday, and I'm putting the front cage on my engine, and we went outside to go push the car in the shop, and the neighbor actually came over and helped push the car in the shop, so it's not so bad.
Nice,
that's good.
Nice.
My neighbors would be screaming.
Winning aside, because you guys have been at the top of the heap in a number of different team shows. Winning aside, what's been one of your most memorable, most proud moments, so to say, of as an engine builder? Somebody had a motor in your car, they just went out and drove the wheels off it and stood the front end of the air. The thing was garbage, or they came away with a victory, and it really changed the perception of your engines in the derby world. I mean, is there any night that you can pick out, or any driver that you really say, I'm really glad this guy had my motor this night?
Obviously, Mayhem being what it's been in the past, winning, having my engines top 4 at Mayhem last year was a pretty good moment. But, to me, and this was more when I first started out, guys buying engines that haven't won shows before and coming out and winning a show, and their excitement of going out and actually, being able to win a show. Not that the engine is what won them the show, because you still have to drive the car.
Absolutely.
The engine doesn't win you the show. You just, as long as it stays running, the guy's still got to be able to turn the wheel.
It's a big part of it.
That fucking helps, dude.
A lot of the wins, like on the county fair level, are a lot more of a serious win for people, because a lot of people don't go to a Mayhem, or they don't go to a Bash for Cash, or a show of that caliber. But their hometown show that they've been going to for 10 years and haven't won, and then you sell them an engine and they win the show. To me, their excitement is more pure.
Definitely.
That to me means more, because Mayhem, if you can keep a radiator in a car, you're putting around for. You're not just Mayhem. A lot of the bigger shows, you're not in the engine the whole time. But at a county fair, it seems like. It's just hold it to the floor, and whatever happens, happens. And those type of wins, I think, mean more to the customers. And it meant more to me. But, like I said, the Mayhem win, and even as a team, the first time we won was at Blizzard Bash. And those guys are my closest friends. And when we won that show, that meant a lot to me. That was a big moment for me.
Definitely.
Yeah, I definitely got to agree with you on the county fair level, because a lot of guys, it's the bragging rights. The bragging rights win, and to have a motor that just,
there's a lot more. You get back to that level, and it's I hate you.
Yeah,
I hate that family over there. It's like, I'm running that son of a bitch over there.
Exactly.
You get a lot of that. I'm running that son of a bitch.
Exactly. When you touch something off like that, and come down through, it's like.
That'd be nasty.
I'm going to punch that guy in the face.
Yeah. That's what I was saying.
But I definitely agree with you there, for sure.
Jeremy, can I ask a question? Maybe you don't know the answer to this, but what is the longest you've ever heard one of your motors going maybe without water? Because, I got junk motors, and if I get 30 minutes out of it, that's my good motor. and I just want to know, I know that there's motors that are going, I guess an hour, and I've seen cars go really long times with long water. What's the longest that you've seen one of your engines go?
Is it real time? Is it an hour, or is it, in your head an hour? Because sometimes when you play back the tapes, you're like, man, I was out there for 45 minutes without water, and you look at the tape and it's 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
Sure.
The longest one that we've had on an actual film to where I was able to stopwatch it, and that the radiator actually came out of the car, was a guy from Indiana. Tony Dunn was his name. It was, I believe, Lawrenceburg. It was like a $7,500 to win or $5,000 to win. And this was the second year that I was building engine. I think it was 2008 or 2009. And he went 51 minutes, and he won the show, and it was still running.
Wow.
Dude. That's what I need.
Last year, after Adam Fouché won Mayhem, he went on to a county fair and took his engine, and he drove up over somebody in heat race, didn't know he lost his race, didn't know that the radiator hose had come off, some weird scenario like that. Well, anyway, he went 45 minutes with his engine, and he won the show as well. But it's
crazy,
dude.
You know, I don't like to embellish unless I can see it or it's on tape. You know, those are the ones that I know of. You know, everybody tells, you know, people call me and say they ran for this long and that long, you know, but
Dude,
long, you know,
51 minutes when the water is forever. Forever. Let's say it was 41 minutes. That's forever. Yeah. I mean, that's so impressive. That's so cool.
That's before roller cam bearings and everything else like that. You know, we're doing a lot of new stuff with roller cam bearings. We do in-house coatings now with the oil shed on the crankshaft, the rods, the bottoms of the pistons. We're just, you know, you can't get better unless you fail, you know, and you learn from mistakes and you try to improve, and that's what we're doing because, you know, there's a lot of people building engines right now, you know, and you want to stay on top, and you have to keep improving. You can't just stay what you are, you know. You got to constantly improve and reevaluate what you're doing and go from there.
And that's, you know, the thing, you know, talking about how many motors he's done and stuff is, you know, on occasion I chat with Jeremy on Facebook, and
we heard.
We were talking.
He asked me to tell you to stop,
and I thought I could do that. And so I said, hey, you know, do you do the motors for a living? He's like, no, I'm a union carpenter, which is no short job. Mm-hmm. And then I own another business with my dad, and then I do this, and I coach basketball. I'm going, I guess sleeping isn't real important out there where you guys are. That's kind of, you know, and it's awesome to do, you know, have that much time. And obviously he puts the time into his product because, you know, I mean, you very rarely do you hear bad things or negative things about his products.
No,
I mean,
great name.
It's
I mean, realistically, Jeremy's engines, I mean, I don't take offense to this, are way underpriced for what you're getting. Way underpriced.
Can I do a payment plan? What's the payment terms on this?
You know,
the value that you get.
We do a credit app right here. How does this work?
We'll have one on video in July.
If I told you what I made per engine, you'd laugh at me for even doing it. But one of the things that I'm, you know, I've tried to do is just slow down a little bit here and just sell to existing customers and just try to get, you know, we're 5, 6 years into this now. So a lot of the people that bought engines when they, you know, first started, they're wanting something new, they're wanting to update, and that's really what I'm trying to do right now is like you said, because I'm a union carpenter. That's what I do during the day, and I coached my son's basketball team this winter, which my competitive side really came out in that as well. And my dad started a construction business 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, and I took the general contracting test for that. So you know, eventually that's the end plan is the construction business, and you know, just maybe slow down and build 12 engines a year or something like that. I say this every year, and it never happens. You know,
you built 12 engines in the last 2 weeks.
Kids are getting older. I'm getting older, so you know, got to slow down a little bit.
When people start wanting to trade in their old ones, maybe remember my name. You know, if they're like upgrading, it's like, don't forget Decker.
The trade-ins don't usually last long because, you know,
that's fine. He only runs for a half hour at a time.
Things and check bearings and that sort of thing. I like to get them out, you know, as quick as possible. But you know, there are trade-ins, and a lot of times, right now, broken blocks.
Yeah.
Everything's so hard. The cradle.
At the beginning of the year, I've reblocked 14 engines.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Just reblocks alone with broken blocks.
Wow.
But none of them were Mopars, were they?
No, actually, I've made a commitment, Brian, and you'll be happy. I'm actually just going to build a Mopar engine.
Well, thanks, Jeremy. It was good having you on the show.
Hey, I'll talk to you. I'll talk to you, Bash. Not that I know anything, but I got some ideas.
Wow.
You.
Wow. I'm just going to build one because I have a lot of people ask, you know, price and stuff, and I don't.
Get your wallet out.
Yeah. That's just it. I'm going to build this thing. I'm going to be $7,000 into it, and then all these Chrysler guys talk. They want, and then when it comes time to pay, they never pay for it.
They never even heard of you.
Hey,
I want all that for $2,500.
If you're looking for somebody to stress test that Mopar, I'll volunteer. Absolutely, no water, no oil.
Gard, don't do it.
But
you know, that's going to be in my free time, so we'll see when that happens.
Yeah, right. I guess that ain't happening.
But we are actually just a couple ticks over, so we don't want to run over the top of the sauce here. They're coming up here in a little over an hour here on Finger Lakes 1.TV. Jeremy, it was great having you on and talking with you tonight, and we wish you the best here. Wish you the best here coming up at Spring Explosion.
Thanks, thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on the show, and wish you guys were coming out, but we'll catch up soon.
We'll get together. Thanks again, man.
Good luck, Jeremy.
Good luck.
All right, guys. Thanks.
Yep.
Take care. And
we didn't bust Dowd's balls at all.
There goes.
We didn't.
No, we don't want to pick on him.
I know he gets upset.
He gets upset.
Like you, Dowd.
Roll over pots up to what? Rollover pots up to what?
1,500.
You know, me and Dowd started yelling at each other. I like been quiet about
he's gonna
that.
break his new motor out.
That's coming up. We'll get into that more later on. Steve, thanks for hanging out in the live chat. It was good having you. Was it busy?
Yeah, very busy, and Brandon was keeping things going, as well as Senior and John King said a few words as well.
Cool.
Everybody's pretty excited about Spring Explosion, so
excellent.
Can't wait.
Can I chime in for 2 seconds?
Yep.
Yeah, today I just want to clear up a couple of things. Some people were not attacking me. People were on Facebook just wondering what was going on in my day. And first, for some people that are in the East Coast, people were worried that maybe I was upset with people in the Brockton area. And absolutely not. Love everybody out there. Still planning on driving out there and that kind of stuff. But I just wanted to wish Steve. I know Steve was planning on going on to a venture himself. So I just I know Steve was with us as a group, I thought. Then, as we kind of stepped away from Derby tees, I guess Steve has kind of stepped in there. So we're going to wish Steve the best in his future endeavors. And we appreciate you while you were here as a part of us. So.
Well, I mean, Steve's going out there for with Spring Explosion and going to work on the pay-per-view as we talked about. And we appreciate that and have a good time out there. You're going to enjoy that show.
Yeah, like I said, kind of just helping them get set up to be self-sufficient so they can do it on their own, and still doing my own thing.
Right.
Well,
exactly.
That's going to do it for this edition of the Crash Course. We appreciate it, and we'll see you guys again here next week.